If you think there's only 4 seasons in North Idaho, then you're going to be in for a real treat when you watch this video. Because up here, we experience 12 unique seasons. That's right, I said 12. That's from full spring to Hell's Front Porch to third winter. We have it all. So go ahead and join us as we explore the wild and unpredictable weather of North Idaho. Plus, I'm going to share how we all navigate these ever-changing conditions. Let's go ahead and get started. Our first season that we're going to talk about is winter. And why winter? Well, because it's probably the longest season up here. And it's not my favorite, but it's definitely my second favorite season up here. There's so much fun activities up here that winter brings. We're talking about Schweitzer Mountain Resort and skiing and snowboarding and cat skiing. Everything that you can think of, you can pretty much do it up on Schweitzer. Plus, there's a ton of trails open throughout the year. You can get those bikes with the fat tires on them and go cruising in the winter time. There's a lot of fun activities. Yes, it's cold. Yes, there's snow, but because of that, we get to enjoy these winter sports right in our backyards. Now, does it create some difficulties during this part of the year? Absolutely, 100%. But I will say that if you dress for the occasion, you have the right gear, and you just know that winter is going to be here and you're going to have to deal with it, that's going to help a lot on dealing with winter. Another fun thing that I like about winter is when you're on the highway, when you're parking in the parking lot, you kind of get to make up the lanes because you can't see the lines, and you might be driving down Highway 95 and you think you're in the lane, and then the snowplow finally gets out in front of you and you're like, oops, I'm 6-7 feet off. I don't know, I kind of find it fun. Now the flip side to all that, of course, is the roads, they can get slicked, and if you're not experienced or you're driving too fast or you're coming into a corner too quickly, yes, there can be some sliding and going off road. So with that in mind, when it is snowing, when there are winter conditions out, just drive a little bit slower. Get a car that has 4-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, switch it over and just drive a little bit safer. So that's winter. Everyone's happy and they're like, it's so beautiful. We're making snowmen. We're having all this fun activity. But then full spring, that's our second season that we're talking about, that comes around. And what is full spring? Well, we're in winter, but now it's starting to warm up. Some of the snow's going away. You don't see any more snow in the forecast, and you're like, oh man, spring is coming. I guess that was winter. That was fun, but let's get into spring mode. Not a whole lot of things. I mean, you can still do all those winter activities, but they're not as fun. Maybe a little bit more dangerous, because if you're skiing on the hill, you might be seeing some trees or rocks come out. But hey, you're getting excited because now you're starting to think of all those activities that you can do in the springtime. Those projects you couldn't get to before winter, you might start planning for that. But this is where our third season comes into play, and that is second winter. It comes back, it's gonna cover everything up. You're gonna get a nice white blanket of snow on the ground, on the trees, and your mood might be a little like disappointed. If you don't like the snow that much, you might be like, darn it, it's back. I gotta deal with all this white stuff again. And if you're somebody like me and you like all the snow and the winter activities, you're jumping up with joy because you get to have winter again. You get nice fresh powder. You're going to be out on the slopes, and winter is here to stay a little bit longer, which is always good. Then after second winter comes, we go into our fourth season, and that's spring of deception. So now we're later into the year. Maybe we're in late January, middle of February, and it's warming up again, maybe even the end of February, and it's starting to warm up again. The snow is starting to go away, and once again, there's no more storms out in the forecast. And you're like, yes, okay, we are gonna get into spring. We're gonna start ordering our seeds and start planning all of our projects. I'm gonna take the snow plow off the truck. I'm gonna start putting the jackets away, the snowshoes. I don't need that anymore because I've already pushed all the snow away from my property, where I'm walking, where I'm driving. I don't need this stuff anymore. But that's typically a mistake of a lot of people, and that's going to lead us into our 5th season. My name is Ben Geanetta. I'm a real estate professional and team leader of Elite Realty Partners right here in North Idaho. And if you're planning to make a move to the area and you want to learn everything that there is about eating, sleeping, working, playing, the good, the bad, the ugly of Sandpoint, then subscribe down below, smash that bell icon. You can also find a calendar link in the description below to schedule a one-on-one meeting with me to discuss this video or anything else related to North Idaho. Now let's go ahead and get back to our season list. So now we are into our 5th season, and that is third winter. And this is where so many people get caught with their pants down because they started putting their snow gear away. They got mentally, their mind wrapped around and framed that winter is done. Like, spring is here. I don't have to deal with the wet stuff anymore. I'm getting those projects going, only to get blanketed with another storm that just kind of popped out of nowhere. It wasn't in the forecast. It just came back. Everything is covered. You got to put the snow pile back on. You got to bring your snowshoes back out, the jackets and all that stuff, and your mood is probably going to be really sour, especially if you're not really big into winter. Even if you like winter like me, you're like, darn it, okay, at least I can go back up to Schweitzer. I can hit the slopes again and I can get a little bit more winter before it's actually gone. And this is what leads us into our 6th season, mud season. By far the worst season. Hate it, wish it wasn't here, but it's kind of a nature of the beast when you have such a winter like what we can have up here in North Idaho. You're gonna start getting rain because we've already had kind of a deception of spring. So we had some rain, we get some snow melt, and we get water everywhere, and water and dirt makes mud and everything is muddy. It's not that pretty. It's still kind of gloomy. We don't have too many sunny days right now. It's just an ugly part of the year, every single year. You cannot escape it. And this is why myself and so many people up here hate mud season. You actually have to go to the car wash, get underneath the carriage if you live out in the rural areas, and you got to spray your undercarriage because otherwise, and your tires, because there's a lot of mud that gets built up and you start wobbling as you go down Highway 95. Hate mud season. Cannot explain that or tell you enough about how much I hate mud season. So that leads us into our 7th season, and that's actual spring. And this is actually a really nice season. Things are greening up. You got grass coming up and it's just an awesome green. You got tamarack trees. They're getting their needles back, and the green that comes out on the tamarack trees are just stunning. And you get some rain. It's nice weather. It's maybe a sweatshirt, and it's just beautiful. Everything is just coming to life. You're getting back to those activities and those projects that you want to start on for the upcoming season. The farmer's market, it's right around the corner. You've already planted into your seeds into your garden, in your house, your greenhouse, wherever you're getting your seeds started. And it's a brand new season of just growth and all the activities that's going to come with the next season, which is summer. So summer is our 8th season. This is why everyone's here. The weather is great. We get to do all these outdoor activities, but without the cold, without the snow, without the rain. It's amazing how much you can do. You can still go up to Schweitzer and you can do bike trails and hiking trails, but now you have Lake Pend Oreille. You can get out on the boat, you can go swimming, you can go fishing. There's so many activities. All the hiking trails, they're starting to open up. Your garden, it's taking off, and you're harvesting and you're setting up more fences for more animals, or whatever that you want to do in the summertime. It's amazing up here because it's not that hot. So much fun stuff to do outside, and that's why everyone's up here, for a healthier life, because the air up here, it's clean. Everyone is happy, and summer, it's utopia. It is Mayberry up here when it's summertime. But not all good things last. So that leads us into our 9th season, and that's Hell's Front Porch. Now, a little disclaimer here. When it gets 80 degrees up here, a lot of people, they're gonna start bitching about how hot it is. I am one of them. Now, when it gets about 90 degrees, a lot of people are gonna complain about how hot it is. And when it gets over 95, everyone complains up here. about how hot it is. They don't like it, they wish it was cooler, and you're just gonna hear a lot of people complain about the heat. Now, the good thing about all three of those scenarios, whether it's 80, 90, 95, what's nice about up here in North Idaho, when the evening comes around, when night comes around, open up the doors, the windows, everything cools down, and that's better than Phoenix and much of California, Nevada, where you wake up, it's hot, you go to bed, it's hot, and it never cools down. So at least it cools down up here, but let's go back to that 90, 95 degree weather. Yes, we do hit those temperatures, but typically it's for a day or two, and then we're back down into the low 80s. Have we seen triple digits? Yes, we have, but that's pretty rare. And again, it might be a day or two out of the entire season. But again, Hell's Front Porch, yes, we complain, and we were big babies up here when it comes to about 85 degree weather. But luckily that's not long lived, and that leads us to our 10th season, and that's false fall, because we're like, oh, we're dying, it's so hot, we're drenched, we can't do anything. We go out early in the morning only to retreat for the most of the day to come back out in the evening time. But false fall, we get that break of weather, and here in 2024, we actually had that. It was super hot, and then it cooled down, so it was low 70s, mid 60s, and everyone is thinking, man, it is going to be an insane winter. If it's already this chilly in mid-August, whew, man, fall is going to be here and winter's going to be here a lot sooner, and it's going to be a killer season. Luckily, that doesn't last too long, because then we go into our 11th season, and that is second summer. We start to warm up again. We get back into the 80s, mid 80s. We get a little rumble and grumbling, but a lot of people are happy because they're going to take advantage of this time. They're going to go back out to the lake and fishing and all that stuff and grab the last little bit of summer. People are going to be out on City Beach soaking up those sun rays, get all that vitamin D before winter comes. And that leads us to our 12th and final season, which is actual fall. And this is my favorite season. The temperature, it's perfect. We get a little bit of rain. We get some nice cloudy days. The leaves on the trees, they're changing, and it's just, everything is beautiful. And it's all in preparation of my second favorite season, which is winter, and that completes our cycle. So how do locals up here deal with all this crazy weather? Because a lot of people are coming from Arizona, they're coming from California, they wake up, it's sunny and it's hot. Well, kind of what I said in the beginning about winter, if you address appropriately with the attire for the season, for the weather conditions, you're going to be just fine. If you have the mindset, if you know that when you look at the weather app and it says sunny for 2 or 3 days, but we get a storm or two that comes in, or maybe it's supposed to be stormy, but it's actually sunny. If you just have kind of an open mindset, like, hey, I don't know exactly what's going on. I'm not looking a week out because that is way too far out for the Pacific Northwest. I'm going to look 24 hours, 36, maybe 48 hours in advance, and just understand that the weather up here, it's unpredictable, and just have the right mindset of like, nah, it is what it is. The weather is out of my control. I'm just going to roll with it. That's going to go a long way in accepting and handling and just dealing with the weather up here. So the best advice I can give you is maybe plan your vacations in the wintertime so you can escape for a week or two when it's a long winter, when it's 6-7 months of winter, and just have an open mind and acceptance of the crazy weather that we get up here and have the right attire. Now make sure you check out my video, Things You Need to Know Before Moving to Sandpoint. You're really going to enjoy that video. I also want to hear from you about this video. Do you think you can handle the bipolar seasons that North Idaho has to offer? I don't know, let me know down below.